As far as I know, I said everything. I don't know what else to say. I said it all in the interview, in my videos. I don't know how transparent they were because I never found out. The only thing I didn't, I don't want to get into it all over again.
I don't know. Like, it's weird. I would imagine, like, Dad would say, like, yo, these heads weren't being transparent, at least that good, because, yo, literally, like, he himself was saying on his other vid, about how, like, Anisha was stopping him from going on, like, I'm saying, Keemstar's show and all that type of beat. So, like, obviously, they weren't saying, well, at least what was going on the inside and all that, and what was going on, at least, for their optics and what they were doing, because, they were trying to shelve Dad from going on Keemstar's show and all that type of beat. I don't know, man. I just know from an overall sense, obviously looking at what's going on and how many fighters dropped and all that, like in that sense, and especially in transparency on what was going on the back end and like, the books and making sure money was going for to the charities. Nah, they weren't transparent at all. Stay on. Not even a poopsie. You already know what it is, baby. It's that time. Yeah, more Creator Clash information came out the other day. Creator Clash fighter on the card. Dad, y'all probably seen it. We watched the video the other day. He had dropped a little response or whatever because, Creator Clash obviously got canceled. CC3 Dunzo. Yeah, he had went on Pope Diorio stream, do a little interview, answer a couple questions about his experience during Creator Clash and all that type of beat. So within that, obviously, it got clipped down. So we're going to check it out, see what info we get from it. So I ain't going to waste no more time. Trilly talks everything. It Trilly does indeed yap everything, especially when it comes to CC3, Yoko, and Soy Dubs, and how they totally bombed this boy. Let's get right into it. You already know, man. Been checking him out mad times recently. He was covering the Skeppy allegations really good. You already know. Shout out Sloppy Mule. He's cooking. We got iDubbbz Creator Class response was insane. Of course, you guys want to watch the OG video down in the description. First link, share to love, of course, with Sloppy Mule. And we need to get into this boy because I ain't gonna lie. Mixie, of course. Of course.
That the event was doing poorly this time around. Creator Clash 3 was doing poorly, and we didn't know that.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a brand new Slump Meal video. I hope you're having a good day. Today's video will be a sad one, because today's video is most likely the last video going over Creator Clash 3, iDubbbz, and Anissa.
I don't know if that's too sad. I mean, sad for our bank accounts because we can't farm it anymore. But I mean, it's kind of a good thing. We need to let this Creator Clash John just be gone and done with. Yoko Soy Dubs completely botched it.
The foreseeable. I wanted to make one more video just wrapping up with some of the latest updates from a couple of the fighters and even one message from iDubbbz himself. On one of my previous videos going over Creator Clash being cancelled, we went over Nathan Barnett or Dad's video talking about Creator Clash 3, and he has uploaded a follow-up video which I want to get into.
There have been a lot of comments and questions that I would like to answer. Things I do have answers for, but I just can't do it here because it's a lot. So I'll put this out there. If there's anyone who would like to talk, have an interview or whatever, like Nicholas D'Oreo or some of these other channels that have been covering
Pope St. Nicholas D'Oreo.
This, I could come on a stream or a show of anyone's and just kind of get it all out.
Which is also something we will be briefly covering today. Nathan or Dad actually ended up going on Nicholas D'Oreo's stream to talk to him and got asked some pretty vital questions that I want to go over.
Mostly just answers to what you've been asking. Like why I did get into it, why a lot of the other boxers got into Creator Clash 3 knowing it was a risk and probably a good...
Yeah, that is a good question to ask, because I ain't even gonna lie. Like, after CC2, obviously, where's the money? Yeah, obviously after that, like, yo, this is literally the same joke that Pope Dior was saying. Like, yo, after CC2, I don't even know who was sitting there and even gassing up Yoko and Soy Dub's heads to tell them, yeah, man, we could run it back for a third one. Sure. Nah, y'all lost 200. Better yet, y'all were negative 500 bands in the red and only made it to negative 250K. And the crazy part to that is because of their own negligence, because they had spent so much other John on auxiliary expenses. RP! Dunzo.
Good chance it could be a failure. I have good reason for why I do that. I mean, I touched on that a little bit, I thought, in my video, but it seems to be there's a lot of stuff people are asking. So if anyone wants to talk about it, I'm down.
I mean, when it comes to fighters going on to Creator Clash 3, some of the newer ones, but definitely uneducated and basically had no idea what had happened in previous Creator Clashes and the drama around any of that. And I can imagine some of the people that had gone on previous ones went out on loyalty and the fact that, you know, they wanted to genuinely raise money for charity. And
That's what I'm saying. Like, Heads, like, obviously Dad himself, because he was going to be in all three, and then Heads like Harley. I'm pretty sure Harley's going to end up being in, like, all three of these channels, too. It's like, yo, y'all owe that to them. They were basically heads that were filling out the card because, oh my God knows they were barely able to do that. Seeing from CC3 how many fighters dropped and all that type of beat. But anyway, like, yeah, they're like OGs on this John. Like, you at least got to give them some, like, sentiment on that part. It's like, oh, come on, bruh. But no. Yoko? Soy Dubs? Care about people that aren't themselves? Hilarious. Hilarious.
thought it'd be different this time. It's not hard to see why people went on this event, just that they really shouldn't have. Before we get into Nicholas Diorio's interview with Dad and some of the things that I picked out from it, I do want to quickly play a question that I asked Dad on his most recent stream.
Ask RQ how transparent Anissa and Ian were.
Not transparent at all. Like, literally, Ian said this on his Reddit post. We weren't transparent enough. Like, you listen to him. We were too vague. The communication wasn't good.
I think, as far as I know, I said everything. I don't know what else to say. I said it all in the interview, in my videos. I don't know how transparent they were because I never found out. The only thing I didn't... I don't want to get into it all over again.
I don't know. Like, it's weird. I would imagine, like, Dad would say, like, yo, these heads weren't being transparent at least that good because, yo, literally, like, he himself was saying on his other vid about how, like, you know, Anissa was stopping him from going on, like, I'm saying, Keemstar's show and all that type of beat. So, like, obviously, they weren't saying, well, at least what was going on the inside and all that and what was going on, at least, for their optics and what they were doing because, yo, they were trying to shelve Dad from going on Keemstar's show and all that type of beat. I don't know, man. I just know from an overall sense, obviously looking at what's going on and how many fighters dropped and all that, like in that sense, and especially in transparency on what was going on the back end and like, you know, the books and making sure money was going for to the charities. Nah, they weren't transparent at all. Stay on. Not even a boopsie.
But the only thing I didn't hear, and that all of us didn't hear, was that the event was doing bad.
Which I've got to say is a big only, because that is a huge thing that was going on behind the scenes. According to Anissa and iDubbbz, even going into this, they didn't think that this event would do very well, and they knew very quickly.
Yep, like literally that's what Ian said in a concern filling video. He's like, yeah, we weren't confident that the event was going to do well going into it. I'm like, bro, what?
That this event wasn't doing very...
Like, why would you fucking do this, John? It doesn't make any sense. If you already knew going into this shit that it was not going to do well, why do it again?
Wow. And the
why do it again after, again, losing 250 bands?
The fact that they weren't transparent with their fighters and weren't saying, look, listen, this event is really not doing very well. We're not selling the tickets that we thought we were. This is going worse than we imagined it would, even though that we thought originally it wouldn't go very well. The fact that there wasn't a conversation like that with the fighters is diabolical.
Poorly this time around. Creator Clash 3 was doing poorly, and we didn't know that. I wish we had been told that, so we all could have tried to help fix this.
To be honest, though, and I
don't know. It's like I question that too because how could heads kind of like not know? Because obviously you know like Yoko and Soy Dubs were withholding a ton of information from him. Shoot, like just from the like you know thing, the whole thing with Harley. Like yo, they were telling Harley like yeah everybody was good with the content cop dropping. Yeah, no one had a problem. Like just straight lying. Like, you already know Yoko and Soido weren't telling heads the truth, but just from looking at how CC2 was going into CC, like, 3, and just the vibe, just looking at, like, Soy Dubs' page and how much emotion he didn't have, I don't know, I feel like you could kind of see that this boy wasn't going to be so good on it.
Where Dad is coming from here, but I don't think any of the fighters, even if they did know, would be able to fix this. This was such a...
Yeah, nah, there is no way, because obviously, again, the stigma from CC2 and then, like, Yoko and Soy Dubs just continuously still fucking it up blatantly, yeah, nah, there's no way.
Big issue. The fact that it wasn't doing well, the fact that they knew when going into this event probably wouldn't do very well, the fact that they then dropped the content cop on top of it that made things 10 times
a billion times.
Was there wasn't anything that the fighters could do, even if they knew that it was failing so catastrophically. I'm really trying to think of possible things that they would be able to
Nothing.
do to make this event successful.
Quite literally nothing. That's how fucking far and cratered that Yoko and Soy Dubs had this shit.
After everything, if they did know, but I'm really struggling to think of anything. But regardless of that, they still should have told the fighters, they still should have been more transparent, and that is one of the biggest downfalls of Creator Clash and iDubbbz and Anissa, is a lack of transparency.
And then the decision was to then go make that video, and it's like, well, they thought, well, it's failing anyway, we'll just bury it without telling anyone. That's unfair.
I mean, that's basically how it was. Like, yo, yeah, that was the sinker. That was the stake in the heart, the knife right through that boy. Yeah. What did everybody say? The 100% worst optical thing to do was drop the content cop on who? Ethan and H3. And who was it on? And that's why we're where we're at now. Tough.
Fair. That's all. I think, other than that, I think we found out everything pretty fast throughout the 3 years. I don't know, though. Because I don't know what was going on that I didn't know about, you know what I mean? So that's hard to answer.
I do think as well that lots of fighters had different experiences with transparency. When you
Yeah.
look at the things that people like Tubbo, Satnap had been saying, it's very clear that they had
They were like, yo, Tubbo in specific had like no context. That's where the context wagon chat. Can somebody drop a context wagon?
very much less transparency than somebody like Harley or Dad. And saying that, they didn't really have any transparency to begin with. Everybody knows that this event was poorly run, but just these fighters coming out and saying that they weren't told certain things, saying that some people were told things and that we weren't, is really tragic to hear, and my heart really does go out to those fighters.
Yeah, because like of course, obviously the fighters, you know, doing their training, you know what I'm saying, taking their time away from obviously their family and or posting videos, you know, working, things and such like that. Like, you have to share that sentiment with them. Like, they, at the end of the day, were heads that got snaked by Yoko and Soy Dubs. As well.
Now, I do quickly want to go over some bits that I picked out of the Nicholas Del Rio and Dad interview. Of course, I highly recommend that you go and watch this, as this is like a 3-hour behemoth, and I'm not going to be covering every single question that Nicholas Del Rio asked Dad and Dad's responses in this video.
So
That was it.
Tweet.
Yes,
Nicholas
20 for both first 2 years, and then the third year was the only time it changed. It went down 5,000 for year 3.
Of course, this is in regards to the money side of things, which I'm glad.
Yeah, nah, this was like the thing in the Reddit post. Yeah, Ian did say this, like the business structure or business model, whatever they had for CC1 and CC2 was different from the one they had in CC3.
That Dad has clarified, there was loads of numbers flying about in regards to what money they received, the fight purses, all of that type of stuff, the bonuses. So I'm glad that Dad has cleared this up, and I'm glad that there is a fighter outside of Harley that is being so incredibly transparent and down to share this information.
Did ask for early because I was like, I'm not getting screwed this time.
Oh, so you got
How does that
paid.
sound? I should think about it. So I got paid early. I don't want to say Harley did, but I think Harley did.
Harley confirmed to me that he
Okay.
did.
I do
I'm about
think
to say, yeah, no, Harley definitely.
is an incredibly smart move and the right thing to do in this situation. If you are a fighter that did end up fighting on Creator Clash 2, you've seen the failure that happened there, but you've still got a little bit of faith in Ian, Anissa.
And like, yeah, this is the thing. Like, I guess like it really was on that basis of like what fighters asked and what fighters didn't. Because I remember Ethan was saying this. For AB, when AB participated in Creator Clash, he had asked for like AB to be paid up front. So he thought he would get the like same, you know what I'm saying, charity and like the same sentiment for like Lena when she boxed, but they did not get that. This is exactly why, you know what I'm saying, AB and Lena got out of that 15K. And then like was specifically 12K, but like, you know what I'm saying, the whole 15K per set, obviously we're seeing here that Dad's saying for CC3, they got out of that John, and then, you know what I'm saying, Ethan obviously had to reimburse them, but like, yo, it should be Yoko and Soy Dubs. What are we doing? But we know they are down super terribly bad in Edmonton, so I don't know if they got that 15.
Creator Clash as a brand and this whole charity aspect or whatever, and you want to fight on Creator Clash 3, asking for the money before 4 is a pretty good decision. I know Dad said he only knew of Harley, who also asked for it early, but I'd be really interested to see if anybody else asked for their money early. I'd be very interested to see about that. But like I said earlier, not many of the fighters are being as transparent as people like Dad and Harley.
Yes.
Because Harley and I were both like, this is probably not going to happen. Let's get the money before it's canceled.
I mean, if this is based in truth, and this is something that did happen, the fact that, you know, even fighters were going, you know, this might not happen, let's just make sure we get our money, just because there is a strong possibility that this event actually doesn't go ahead and something does go wrong, is so...
I mean, like, I could kind of understand that from a perspective, because it's like, obviously, like we discussed earlier, like, obviously the fighters are going to be doing training, and then obviously within training, that may take away from them, obviously, making money. Like, you know, that's a good job. But then we got to think, I'm just sitting here like, yo, but what about the charities? Charities getting snaked either way. I mean, it's not like Yoko and Soydubs gave a fuck about it.
insanely funny to me.
So I did get my 15,000 for Credit Cash 3, year 3.
Wait, was that actually a conversation? You're like, there's a pretty solid chance this thing is gonna blow up, so we better get the money as quickly as...
It was a conversation I had. The person I had that's convincing me to join or asked me to join, that person at the whole company, not Ian or Anissa, had a long conversation with this person saying, I don't know if I want to do this because I'm really tired now after getting beaten up so much in my life. I did the Game Grumps tour twice. I was talking about how my body was just tired from the last 2 years of touring. I like jumped off the stage every night, diving over the audience. Like, I beat myself up.
God damn. Just thinking about that, I'm like, Jesus Christ, he was doing stage dives. Yo, you just catch Dad. Like, yeah.
For the Game Grumps tour the last 2 years, and this was right after Critical Cash 2. So I went from 2 years of boxing into 2 years of touring, and I go really hard. I like do backflips and front flips on stage. I dive into trash cans. I just kind of...
Yeah, he was putting that work in. He was giving that shit real energy. You know, I feel that.
I go bonkers. I jump off the balcony.
Yeah, you don't seem like a passenger. You seem like, even in your...
It's interesting to hear that these conversations of doubt and worry were happening behind the scenes. I mean, it's something we all assume.
I mean, like, it's like, you could imagine that's gonna happen, though. Again, like, after CC2, like, how could you not feel nervous about this shit? This shit lost $250,000 and started off negative of like $500,000. It's like, yo, and it didn't donate not a single fucking dollar to charity. And then now to go into the third event, and bro, for all this shit to come out, y'all taking like a profit share when this shit's not even a charity boxing event, because yo, the Tiltify for the charity is something completely separate, and the profits, like, you know, the obviously, you know what I'm saying, profit revenue from the tickets and then from like merch and shit like that is just completely going to like Ed's pockets again. 34%. Like, what? This John is so bad.
As creators and viewers alike were probably happening realistically, but it's very interesting to hear a ex-fighter on one of these events actually talk out about these said doubts and conversations that were happening. And in regards to what Nicholas Dury was said, that Dad very much feels like somebody who puts all his all into the fights. That's why I do feel very sympathetic towards people like Dad and the other people that were training incredibly hard, because they put a lot of effort into actually trying to make Critical Clash 3 a proper event.
That was because I was nervous this whole time about the ticket sales, so I was like, I gotta count every ticket, and I went and physically counted every ticket that was sold on the picture of the arena, and I made a mark on every one I had. It took me hours, and I wrote, okay, 137 sold in this section, 137 in this section, and then I like added them all up, and it was about 4,000-ish tickets were sold. And then that's when they were blocking off the top at that point. So then it was like, we only need to sell.
Oh yeah, when they started graying that shit out, they completely had grayed out the top, like part of Emily Arena or whatever, because yeah, ain't shit was selling.
10,000.
Did they ever tell people why they blocked off the top? Because, by the way, I had friends who bought tickets up there.
Again, there's just another huge lack of transparency, not talking about why they closed off the top of the arena. Why is
Because it wasn't selling.
that something they did?
I mean, that was obvious, because again, the promoters were promoting.
Well, we will never know. There are so many questions for Critical Clash directly, not the fighters that, of course, were gearing up to be fighting on the event. There are just so many questions directly for Critical Clash 3, Ian and Anissa, that people have that will 100% go unanswered. Because Ian and Anissa will never do a sit-down video where they go...
Absolutely not, bruh. Again, this is why fucking Yoko is doing her spur crash out. She, of course, victim complex. Cry, bully. not taking accountability ever, was on Twitter trying to blame this boy again on Ian. Yo, Ian's not gonna like this, but I feel like this needs some transparency. Saying again, trying to corroborate more that Ian is not transparent. He's a sneaky ass, slimy ass nigga. You just gonna keep throwing that nigga under the bus. My bad. While we wait for that lob that she's fucking throwing to come back down, it's like... And I went to a different page. Did not mean to do that. Y'all are done. Y'all gonna take this boy to the chin. Yoko, Soy Dubs, y'all fucked up Creator Clash. Y'all fucked up the charity boxing events. It's over. Y'all snaked out all the fighters. Y'all weren't transparent with nobody. And then Yoko is out in this boy because fucking, you know, Soy Dubs, he can't formulate his own thoughts. None of that shit. Can't think anything. Never. Don't know what's going on with him. Actually, fully do. He's getting bitched. Yoko is in this boy. Straight, of course, lying, not taking the accountability. Are we surprised? We're not. We will be seeing them later. Bye-bye!
Go through a bunch of questions and actually answer them properly.
There was 4,000 tickets, which is almost half of the arena sold. And that was in March, I think, is when I did the camping trip. And Ian told
Half of the whole arena? There was no way.
me this, because then I said, hey, I counted all the tickets. And it says it's 4,000
interesting
sold.
too. So the March camping trip was like very shortly after the Ethan Klein call-out stream from H3. So he was getting ready for the content cop all the way back then.
I think that's so funny because that also goes to show that Ian really didn't care about Creator Clash 3. Him and Anissa in there.
He's never cared about Creator Clash at all. He's never wanted to box. Like, quite literally, like, at least my own Schizo Max Truly Conspiracy Theory or whatever, even though it's basically corroborated to be fucking true at this point, except a certain someone doesn't want to admit it because she knows it's her fucking fault. Yeah, Idubbbz never wanted to box or do any of this shit. Quite literally, the only reason he did any of this shit was because Yoko was probably bitching to him that she wants more fucking clout and she wants to join Hassan's orbit because she feels as though she's somebody, even though everyone here can acknowledge she's fucking nobody. It needs to stay being nobody because her being relevant only brings madness, bodness, and fucking up Soy Dub's life even more. Any type of relevance, attention she gets. And that's the truth, at least to Trilly, in my opinion.
Our own words, already knew this event probably wasn't going to do the best, so, you know, shit to the wind, he just decided to drop the content cop. He had absolutely zero care in the world what the content cop might actually do to Creator Clash as an event. He simply just didn't care, and this is very clear.
I said, I counted 4,000 tickets, and Ian goes, oh, I wouldn't focus on those numbers so much.
Yeah, I bet you wouldn't.
Because Ticketmaster does tricky things with how they make sales.
Or, you know, we didn't sell any fucking tickets.
Basically, they make it look like the arena is selling more than it is. Because if you look at it, when I was counting this, I was
they
like,
make
this
it
is
look
odd.
like the arena is selling more than it is? That's what he said? So wait, he was telling you they actually had sold more seats?
I don't want to put words in his mouth. He didn't say that, but that's what he alluded to. It's like Ticketmaster does tricky things to promote sales. Is basically what he said.
It's what Nathan is saying. That
yeah, I'm kind of mixed on that. What does that mean? Ticketmaster does weird things to like promote sales. Like, okay, so are they showing fake numbers? Or are they doing like some sketchy advertising, Jones? Like, what does that mean though?
there is something that did happen. I find that incredibly funny. The absolute cope of Idubbbz, because, you know, ultimately, as they've said now, Idubbbz and Anissa are going to shot themselves in the foot by saying that they knew this event wouldn't do very well.
Yeah, nah, like that directly is just like, in a way, taking accountability, but obviously not really. Like, they're admitting, like, obviously, like I said earlier, fucking Yoko is blaming this shit basically on Real Good Touring. We were promised that we were going to do better. We were promised that this event was going to go the way we wanted. Fuck do you mean we were promised? No, again, you two are the motherfuckers that started this Creator Clash shit, that founded it. We're supposed to be the promoters. We're supposed to do all this shit to keep it good with your fighters. Yo, y'all promised niggas shit. Fuck do you mean you got promised? No, You promised niggas that this shit was gonna be some fire shit, and guess what? It wasn't. What are we doing? But anyway.
Because it's so funny then hearing their cope excuses when fighters ask them questions about it. I also quickly do want to touch on the fact that Ren from Corridor Cruise, somebody who was meant to be fighting on Creator Clash 3, has actually made several Instagram stories just talking about how disappointed he is with the fact that Creator Clash 3 is cancelled. I mean, this has kind of been the sentiment of a lot of fighters, and my heart does go out to them. Of course, I have my criticisms for quite a few of them, and I understand some of the comments that people have been leaving in regards to the fighters, but I do feel sympathetic towards them. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the final thing I want to go over for this video, and potentially the final Creator Clash video that I make, is Ian's response, or lack of response, should I say. The only public response that has been made, it comes from
It was a Discord job,
directly
right?
his Discord server, and it's a message, and this was the message. One in the Discord server says, look, I don't know if I'm allowed to bring up what Ludwig said in regards to Creator Clash, and Idubbbz put, you're allowed to talk about it. I just choose not to, because it's not something I want to occupy my brain with.
And again, like I've been saying every time I see this fucking shit, yeah, it's probably because you don't have, you know, enough space in your fucking brain, you know, from the parts that Yoko was filling up. Because once more she formulates your thoughts, you cannot finish a sentence without her. Dog. But we know the fucking main reason. It's because, yeah, you don't want to acknowledge this massive fucking failure that Yoko has just cemented onto your name. That truly does suck, huh? You got psyoped by the fucking Jalooper, and that shit ruined your life. Completely fucked your life. Damn, bro. I'm gonna keep it a buck. It's all up to the Huns. It sure is. But for the bros, the pussy not worth it. I'm gonna keep it a buck. I'm gonna keep it a stack. There's no pussy in the world that's this good. To fuck your life up like this, there's no pussy in this world. Stamped. Again, share love with the Huns. You know I get down. I do love the Huns, but nah. Don't let the Jalooper psyop you. Cause this shit is pathetic.
Which I think is such a funny response, because for one, we all know Idubbbz doesn't occupy his brain with much to begin with, because it is so clear that he does care and that it is occupying his brain, because he's
I mean, again, concern trolling video. He sat there and read 150,000 fucking comments, so
actively saying it out loud. He's actively putting that statement out into the world. Somebody who doesn't care or doesn't occupy their brain with that type of thing isn't going
I wouldn't even mention the shit.
to tell you that directly. I also think Ian's response makes for an incredible juxtaposition to Anissa's response, which has been just having a mental breakdown on Twitter, constantly tweeting out
Yeah, again, victim complex crybaby. What else did we expect her to do? And she wants to start streaming again. I'm telling you right now, when that woman starts streaming again, I will be covering everything. Her ass will be getting farmed straight up. Call it Farmville. What level's your barn? Nah. Yeah, that's the real though. This downfall will only get sweeter. Lovely.
regrettable things about Creator Clash herself and Ian, where Ian's is one message, which, you know, there's quite a lot of layers there of copium, but it's one message in regards to Anissa's several tweets. I do ultimately think that will be Idubbbz' only real addressal or response to the stuff that's happened with Creator Clash 3 since his last video where he mentioned leaving Creator Clash 3 and a few of the other things. But ladies and gentlemen, on that note, I pretty much think that is all for Creator Clash 3, and with this video possibly being the
yeah, there's like it's pretty this is pretty much it, unless there's any more major like bombshells or like the books just get straight cracked. The books get dropped as if this boy is supposed to be the Epstein files, which is never getting dropped. But yeah, unless it's like directly to books, I don't know. I'm pretty sure, yeah, this is it.
final video on Creator Clash. Probably not Ian and Anissa, they will probably...
Yo, yeah, nah, Yoko and Soydubs, like I said, Yoko wants to start streaming again. Oh, nah, her ass is about to get farmed to infinity. I'm trying to tell y'all, bro. She doesn't understand it again. The fucking Hassan G boys... They've been gassing her head up for too goddamn long within this whole drama going on. So she doesn't realize, one, those niggas don't give a fuck about her. Two, they've been gassing her head up, sliding her. Yeah, she's gonna have no fucking motion because she never had it in the first place. Three to that, Does she think Head's not about to be popping out in these streams? Not that I'm telling Heads like, oh yeah, go fucking Brigade or go fucking harass her, all that shit. Yeah, duh, don't fucking do that shit. Do not. Yeah, I know about the Luddy argument. I'm telling Heads, do not fucking go do that shit. If you go do it, nigga, I'm not responsible. I'm gonna tell you right now. But I will be one of the niggas watching that shit. No lurker niggas seeing that shit. And when that shit, when niggas make the fucking slot videos about it, I will be there. I will be there again. But yeah, so about creator clash and shit, yeah, I think this will probably be like one of the last jumps. But Yoko Soy-Dubs, oh no, this downfall could only get better.
Keep doing stuff that I want to talk about, but at least for Creator Clash 3, because the event is cancelled. There's
Yeah,
only so much
that shit is canned.
other fighters can say, and at this point, if fighters were going to say anything, they would have said it already, and the things they've said we've already covered. I really can't see there being any more major updates, but of course, if there are, I will be covering them on this channel. Thank you everybody for watching today's YouTube video. If you did enjoy, please consider leaving a like and subscribing and hit the notification bell, and once you're done there, you might as well leave a comment saying your favourite bit of this entire controversy with Creator Clash, Ian.
My favorite bit, okay, hold on. That has specifically to do with Yoko and Soy-Dubs, my favorite bit? Oh, it's literally just the sound bites that come out of this jump. No. No. That shit is so funny, bro. When he, or like all the different lobs that Yoko has been throwing. I mean, yeah, since I know you've always, been shitting yourself. I mean, you've always had IBS. I'm like, bro, fuck. It's so bad, but holy shit, it's so funny because, like, yo, he just lets this shit, like, happen, bro. He doesn't do anything. He does nothing. He never tells her to not say this shit. So go ahead. We gonna laugh at the nigga. But yeah, that's probably my favorite part.
And Anissa, and your thoughts on this video. But I've been your host Samuel, and I'll catch you in the next Slop Mule video. Goodbye.
Factual, you already know. Shout out, shirt of love with Slobber Mule. You feel me? That was iDubbbz creator class response was insane. Of course, if you guys want to watch the OG video, down in the description, first link, shirt of love with, of course, Slobber Mule and Final Pains and Conjecture. Yeah, I feel bad for heads like Dad, you know what I'm saying? It just, again, like, the fighters got snaked out, but pretty much everyone in this boy that isn't Yoko and Soy-Dubs got snaked out because everything got messed up by these two idiots. And especially on the factor of the charities because, there were children with cancer that were expecting to get some cheese, you know what I'm saying, to help them out. And some had prioritized flying out of San denims, Frogan, paying a comedian 20K, galas. So that didn't happen. But yep, Karma, like I said in one of the other vids, she is a conniving hatch, let me tell you. And she's mean, and she comes every time, and boy did she come for these two dumbasses. So yeah, of course, within that fallout, like I said, the downfall is hefty if more stuff comes out, especially with Yoko and Soy-Dubs. Trilly will be there for it. But other than that, again, shout out to the love of Sloppy Mule, and I'll be catching y'all on the flip, baby. Peace.